Let the people come on.
Yes, y'all come on in the room. How y'all doing? We're both here. We're here. We're here. We're here. We're here. We're queer. We're not going anywhere.
Right, we're not.
No.
I
Girl,
would
how
I
you
would start a watch party, but I'm not because the girls were upset that they couldn't comment on the screen. So I'ma just not start the watch party.
right, did it? I was like, well, I thought I was making it easier, but girl, I said the same thing. Like my friends is mad. Like, why? What's this on the side shit? Like they wanted to be on here, and I love that we have this technology. So for those of you who are just tuning in, if you would like to comment, this is an interactive podcast. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe with all of your friends and loved ones and all that jazz. But also, if you would like for your comments to show up on this screen, please feel free to comment and we will actually engage. This is an interactive experience and we're extremely excited to be here today to talk to you guys because this is actually one of my favorite parts, sis. I don't know about you, but I live for being able to communicate with like the people that are down because I feel like if you listen to our podcast and you're tuning in, you're down with us. You know what I'm saying? So like I gotta honor that, you know?
Right. Hold on. Let me put this up again. I'm trying to hold on, please. Click the link.
Let me go to settings.
Okay. So y'all who are watching this, this is going to be on y'all. Share the live, like the live, love the live, share the live, tell your girlfriend about the live.
I'll be right back, sis. I'm still here. I just gotta fix something.
Okay.
I didn't want them people looking at my nose.
Mhm.
Because my blind ass has to pull the computer to me. Hmm. Uh,
We are getting started shortly, honey. Get all of your girlfriends in the room.
Gather the children. We're still here. The
This is
line
for
is on the line.
this is for y'all. Sis, can you also share it on your page?
I will, darling, of course.
Come
Oh,
on
okay.
in the
So we are.
room.
I was checking the microphone to make sure that we're using the good mic, girl, and apparently we've been on it the whole time. Praise the Lord.
Come on in the room. If you're in the room and this is your first time, say hey in the comments. Say
Don't be
hey in the
scared.
comments,
We
honey.
don't bite on the first time.
Say hi in the comments.
Hey everyone.
Come on
How
in the
y'all
room.
doing? Come on in the room. I think I'm sitting on the remote. Turn this off.
So it's a lot going on in the world news wise.
Oh my god. So I was just wondering, girl, did you want to just run through hot topics, bitch, and just kind of give our commentary?
It's so much, Miss Thing. Yeah, I guess. But first, before we get into hot topics, episode 18 dropped today. I hope you all got an opportunity to listen to it and to take it in. I was really nervous about today's episode just because I feel like this week's episode and next week's episode are really heavy. Not because it's anything sad or anything, but because they're very laborious conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're going to be talking about like intra community issues that we are all working through, and they're really dense. But so far, the feedback that I've gotten has been positive.
Work.
Have you heard?
And same here, same here. But I kind of feel like too, we have a lot. We have really loyal and dedicated fan base. One of these days, we're gonna have to give you guys a name. You know how the new thing is you name your fan base, girl. So one of these days, we're gonna have to give our loyal day one followers, the Hive, a name.
Right.
But so girl, let's just get to it. So I want to talk about what do you and this is let's start with a light topic.
Okay.
What do you think about the
Tamar?
Huh?
I was being a key. Tamar.
That's not like. Before we get into that kind of key, bitch, let's soften them up. Let's tenderize the meat a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah. So I guess I want to say what do you think about Tory Lanez and Meg Thee Stallion shooting? I mean, not that this is a lighter topic. I mean, it's just shit happening, but yeah.
I'm going to be honest. I'm still going to wait for more details to come out about the story because he hasn't said anything and she's being really silent on everything. But if what happened, what people are alleging happened, that he shot her, niggas is going to have to come collect him. Like, and I don't necessarily mean like beat him up or get physical with him, but collect him meaning check the culture. Like, why is it okay for you, for y'all always to be violent this way to Black women? Why? And what are you going to do? Don't gaslight us to say, oh, this is just a one-off thing, or this shouldn't have happened. And if what people are saying is true, that he played a part in her getting shot, or if he did it himself, niggas have heavy lifting to do.
It also speaks to that larger cultural thing too, right? Like the idea that violence against Black women is something that, as a culture, I am surprised that. I'm just surprised because in some of the commentary I'm hearing, there seems to be people out there who are kind of condoning in a way, or kind of like condoning her if she did get attacked, for her to stay silent and shut up and not do nothing.
No.
She's in an intimate relationship with. That's never a situation where you don't step down from shooting, right? Like when we was escalated to getting shot. Bitch, I need to tell somebody because I don't know what you're going to do. You know what I'm saying? So I do hope that if she was in fact attacked, that she gets the right support as a victim. As someone that has survived domestic violence myself, I am aware that feeling of loneliness and emptiness, and you feeling embarrassed and not wanting your narrative to be your abuse, so you hide it and you pretend like that's not what it is, because you genuinely are ashamed yourself that you've allowed yourself to be in that situation. And sometimes that can be very isolating.
Right.
It really, really can. Oh, hey, y'all. Hey.
Come on in the room if y'all are new to the live.
I'm going to make sure I say hey back. I didn't know enough about that, but I do know cis Black men will be our downfall if we allow. If we don't as a community stand up for ourselves and hold our men accountable for the standard that we want for ourselves, you're right. I agree. But I do think, we have to be careful that we don't say all cis men, because like my husband reminded me recently, he was like, for those of us men that do love y'all and love on y'all need to talk a little more about it. And I agree, because I think some of it too, and what he was trying to say was, some of it is that the men that are okay with us aren't being lifted up by the women. So then the women are confused as to like, well, if you mad at me for liking you, you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I do want to put that into the space. Like, we have to honor and uplift the people that are supporting us, and not just speak cis men blanketly when we say things. Because when we do that, we're really being isolating in the way that we would if somebody were to say women. If a man were to stand up and say, women are this way, all women would be very upset. So I want us to be careful with our language too. So that was in response to I believe this is Erica. I'm not sure. It says ARY 2020. Oh yeah. I'm not sure who you are, but ARY 2020. I agree. I don't know enough about that, but I do know cis black men will be our downfall if we allow. I don't think all cis black men will be our downfall, but I do believe the system that cis black men have raised and has raised them to be a threat if we allow it. But anyway, go ahead, girl.
Right. Yeah, like I said, the story is still, the shooting happened on Sunday, but stuff is still coming out every day. I'm gonna wait until the real tea comes out to have like a real opinion. But in the meantime, men, like y'all need to come and hold your brother and have conversations openly about what it's going to look like for you to protect black women.
And not those
All black
placating
women.
surface conversations. Not those placating surface conversations where it's like, yeah, man, my baby mom get on my nerves too. Like, not those kinds of conversations. Because I feel like a lot of the fraternity of black men is about like supporting each other at all costs at the expense of actually, because I feel like also just like me being a good sister means holding my sisters accountable. Being a good brother means that the men around you are holding the women that you say you love and care about in a certain way. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like, so then I think if you love your mama and you don't want somebody disrespecting your mama, or if you love your sister or your cousin and you don't want people disrespecting those women in your life, if you held the men around you to a different standard, and there are a lot of good men that are, shout out to you, but for the men that aren't holding your friends, like if you got a friend in your life that is the type of nigga that'll shoot a bitch, if you got a friend in your life that is the type of nigga that'll harm a woman or talks about like, yeah, sometimes you have to be mindful, because by you not saying anything when men say certain things, you're allowing it. And unfortunately, the way patriarchy is set up, men are more likely to listen to each other on certain matters.
Hmm.
That means men are doubly more responsible to police each other, because you put the paradigm in place that my opinion as a woman, I would never be able to understand you, so therefore I don't have a say. So the way society is set up, we're not really having a lot of collaborative conversations simply because we're so gendered. And I feel like Tory Lanez and men like him would benefit from a masculinity that isn't so dependent upon like upholding and supporting foolishness. Like, if you really say you love women, then you should make sure that the men around you treat their women a certain way, because one of those men is going to either be themselves or raise someone that's going to be dating someone that might be your family member. So you want to make sure you're upholding the standard. And I want to shout out to
But
the situation. Shout out to Tory Lanez. I don't know. We don't know what actually happened, but I will say this doesn't look good. And if he did in fact shoot
no,
her in an act of domestic violence, I want him to go to jail.
no. And the crazy
But
thing about
shooting
Tory
never.
Lanez is his whole brand has been like the street, like rapper singer that's sensitive to black women's issues, and that's using, like, he's done some stuff that's very like performative. So if this is true, it calls into question all of the things that you tried to done to make it seem like you support black women or you stand in solidarity with black women.
When in fact you're the type of dude that has, and unfortunately the stereotype already of short men is that they have the little short man syndrome. So then the idea that Meg was talking fierce to you, and so now I want to give a shout out to another content creator out there, and she's controversial in her own way, but I appreciate that she's evolving or whatever, and she does have a trans friend. Talking about Tasha K.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, very dry. However, I she breaks information sometimes that is relevant, and I deal with her the way I dealt with Wendy when Wendy had a show. Oops, I mean, when her before her show comes back on. Um, I deal with Tasha K the same way. Like, she's not my favorite wide world, but she be dropping tea, so I listen. And so she was talking about this situation, and she brought up that supposedly they were at a party and they had a miscommunication at the party about her cell phone. And they were at a pool party, and I guess he got her cell phone wet, and supposedly they had words, and she was breaking up with him. And she was done with him. She told the people at the party she was gonna break it off, and then supposedly she went, got in the car with him, and then that breakup conversation is what got her shot.
Damn, bitch.
So, bitch, that's why I brought it up, because I'm like, if that report, shout out to Tasha K, I'm gonna give you credit where credit is due, and I'm also gonna pass that liability on you, sis. I hope that's a legitimate story, because that's where I got it from. So I want to pass that on to her. So shout out to Tasha K. However, I thought that story was interesting because I was like, oh, so if it is that, then that just shows that Black men really need to work on rejection from Black women, period. Because it seems like, I feel like Black men in a lot of ways sometimes can feel like, if it is true that he shot her, to feel like a woman owes you something because you dating her.
Bitch, Black, they don't even want you saying no when you don't even want to do something sexual in the bedroom that they like, or they want, or you don't want to send them a nude pic, bitch. They flip out. So I know. But yeah,
You know how
again,
real it is out here being a single woman in these streets.
yeah. Oh, men don't like, they don't like it. You know, I get labeled, oh, you have an attitude. No, I'm just a 31-year-old grown ass woman, and I know my boundaries, and I know when I'm not about to do no dumb shit. And a lot of times niggas that I've interacted with will have you doing dumb shit just to do the dumb, just to see how far they can go with you. And then when you tell them no and you stand up for themselves, they be ready to square up with you like you a stranger on the streets. And it's just, again, this is going to take men with power, with influence, who are woke and I know that they exist out there, to come get him and hold him as a community of men. We as women don't have to do nothing but heal Megan and heal all of the other women that are impacted by stuff like this. We don't got nothing to do with him. Let your brother.
She's still a very young woman, and so I pray for her psyche, because she's famous, she's in the public eye, and she cares about her brand. And maybe it could be, if again, this is all alleged, we don't know what happened, and I hope that it's not what is alleged. However, if it is the fact that he shot her, or that a scuffle, not necessarily that he intended to shoot her, but like if he pulled out a gun in an argument to make a point and then it went off, or whatever the situation is, because apparently he wasn't supposed to have a gun in the first place as a felon. Yeah, so that's
how was he a felon and he Canadian?
Because he had a gun and a drug charge previously.
Oh, girl.
And yeah, but he was able to, I guess, he committed his sentence and they didn't revoke his stuff. Now they probably will.
Girl, now ICE will be moving in swiftly, bitch.
For sure. You're a problem, little nigga. So yeah, they go send him home. And I feel like at minimum, I feel like that's justified if he shot her. But I feel like being a young woman myself, still, I consider myself still youthful. And being a youthful woman myself, I feel like, I don't know, girl. My heart goes out to her because I've been where she is, and I know that there's life on the other side. Megan, I'm sure you're not watching our little asses, but if you are, bitch, I want you to know that I'm rooting for you. I want you to know that you telling your story can help empower other people. I want you to know that you can look to Rihanna and some of these other women to know that it doesn't have to define you. And if it is the case that you did get shot by this man, walk away at the minimum, sis. It's over. Like, amen. If he shot you, Meg, it's over.
Amen. So what next is on the agenda?
I don't know, bitch. What do you think about? So let's unpack. Well, so what happened this week? Oh, did we ever unpack Kanye running for president?
We've been to that. We can talk about Tamar a little bit. That kind of
oh yeah, bitch. That's what you wanted to start at anyway. Your the macabre ass, bitch. You wanted to start right with the suicide thing. So
no,
what allegedly happened?
Well, I haven't heard any details and they like this literally was just reported. Like I saw it this morning when I woke up.
Yeah, me too.
That she allegedly attempted suicide and that she's currently at the hospital. But it's just like, sis, what happened? Like what? Like something. As somebody that has attempted suicide before, and that can speak from that perspective. Usually when I have gotten to that point, it's just like thing after thing after thing after thing like goes wrong, and you feel like you're in a hole, and it's just like I just
You
wanted
know,
to
you need a W and you can't get one, and it's just
right,
like, bitch,
right.
why am I here? Yeah, I get it.
Right. So I could only imagine like what that looked like for her. Like I know she has the show on VH1, and her other reality show is about to come out on We. That's supposed to be documenting like her return to prominence or whatever. Like
Uh-huh.
I don't know. Like is the but at the end of the
I think
day,
it's called Get Your Life.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's sad. It's just really sad because as somebody that is choosing to empathize with her, she must have really felt like she had a lot on her for her to want to like not even because for me when I attempted to suicide, it was not necessarily about ending my life. It was about stopping the pain or not feeling the pain of whatever I was going through.
Yeah, it's when the pain seems more, when the pain becomes all encompassing, and you can't really get to that place where you're able to see a way out.
Right,
Like,
right,
this is suffering at this point.
right. And
Yeah,
like one bad thing, you can just be like, oh, I'm asleep on it and I'll get over it. But when it's just like one thing stacking on top of it, and it's just like, ooh, like I've literally felt like, ooh, girl, I can't catch my breath because usually I could pull myself up by the bootstraps, bitch. But like five, six, seven, eight, nine things happening at the same, like I don't know. I pray that whatever she's going through that she gets the help that she needs and that she can
uh-huh.
come out of this because I just know if she was to pass in that way, like it would impact a lot of people. And you know,
It would.
yeah,
I
her
don't think she realizes how many people actually are rooting for her. She's one of those
right,
personalities, I believe, Shay. We all are a Tamar at times or know a Tamar.
right,
And she's a personality that is, you know, especially when you're a black woman and you're strong and you happen to be be very demonstrative. I'm a very demonstrative black woman. I'm a very what people would call flamboyant personality, and I know what it is to live in a world where people all the time are telling you that you're doing too much and you're not
mm,
doing anything, but to some people you're doing the most, and you can't control that because you just have a large personality. I feel like that's part of it, but then part of it too is I think she's a fragile personality that's placed herself in the public eye, and a lot of celebrities I feel like are there because they're talented, right? But it's also too sometimes in their personal life I believe they're lacking. Uh, Sometimes you hear celebrities talk and it sounds like I don't feel like myself until I'm on stage. You'll hear them say that, or you'll hear them say things like, I do this because, um, it helps me overcome my low self esteem. You know what I'm saying? And like when
mm,
she's given interviews in the past that lead me to believe that she's admitted in the past that depression has been a thing she's dealt with. So then I already put people like that on the watch list in my mind because I am someone that does deal with depression at times,
mm-hmm,
and I do go see a medical professional. So I'm not gonna see. So I completely understand where all you what you were saying and what about Tamar, because it is important to know that you can be triggered, and I feel like
mm,
hopefully the people around her will rally and be a little bit more observant because usually before someone gets to that step, there's signs. And in the report that I read, actually, it said that earlier that day, in an argument with her fiance and her team, um, she she threatened them. She said, I feel like I guess she must have said something that made them think that she was threatening, and they assuming that she was just being dramatic, painted. You see what I'm saying?
mm-hmm,
So if that report is true, then it just goes to show how like we got when people tell you who they are, believe them, but also like particularly for her partner, her spouse, she's gonna really need time to because a lot of and this is no shade because I'm in a relationship with a man and I understand a lot of times men don't realize like there's nothing that you can do to heal me. Does that make sense? And I
mm-hmm,
feel like some of these men get in women's lives and they're like, she just needs a good husband. she needs someone to love her. I'm going to heal her. I'm going to be this man and this rock in her life. And yes, I do want to rock. I do want to support her. And I do want a man that's going to support my journey for healing. But you can't heal me, boo.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like sometimes if men really, instead of you just labeling your wife crazy and cheating on her with another woman, why not encourage her to go to counseling and then you go with her? And so in this case, if she's already committed suicide and are in fact going to stay together, or attempted suicide, excuse me, and they're in fact still going to stay together, I suggest counseling for sure.
Yeah, I just I want to see Tamar win. I really hope that she pulls through this, but
she's a Baltimore girl, isn't she?
Technically, she's not from Baltimore. She's there from Severn, Maryland, which is like a suburb of Baltimore. But no shade. Before me and my mom moved to Baltimore, we actually lived in Severn, Maryland as well. So, but Severn is not in Baltimore. But they are all Marylanders. Yay for them. But no, we want Tamar to get well. We don't want her going out like that.
Come on, Baltimore people. Y'all be so particular about where them lines are drawn.
Well, Baltimore is like
county. That's what I've learned.
Huh?
That Baltimore, the city, is not Baltimore, the county.
No, Baltimore is its own independent like region, and then Baltimore County is its own like region, and then Severn is actually in Anne Arundel County, which is south of Baltimore City. So where I live in Baltimore now, I kind of live like on the edge of where my mom lives at. So like if I walk down the street, I'll be in Anne Arundel County. But no, Severn. So they're not from Baltimore, like city proper. They're from Anne Arundel County. Gotcha. But that's another topic for another time. Let's get in and out of this real quick. So Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I know this is different for our audience, but this is important to me because she's the Supreme Court Justice.
No, it's important to everyone, and you should explain why.
She's the Supreme Court Justice. I believe she's 87 years old. It was just reported today that her cancer, she's been battling cancer for some time now, that her cancer came back, but she said that she has no plans on retiring from the bench, and that she's still going to continue to work. And of course, people are like in their feels about it because Supreme Court Justice Ginsburg is one of the more progressive and liberal justices on the Supreme Court. Usually, when it's an issue that like a landmark case that's really important for marginalized people, you can always usually depend on Justice Ginsburg to vote liberal or vote progressive. She was definitely one of the progressives on the Title VII case and the marriage case and the police. Well, not the police brutality, but like the criminal procedure cases when it comes to limiting the rights of the police. Like she's one of the, and she is famous just for being that Supreme Court justice that folks can depend on. So, and the big contention is that if she dies, that Trump is going to replace her with
someone that is conservative.
A more conservative justice. And it's going to tip the Supreme Court justice overall, so that anytime an issue comes up, that the rulings will come out more conservative because there will be more conservative.
How many Supreme Court justices are there, if I remember correctly?
I want to say, let me look that up because I don't know.
Thomas, Sotomayor.
9. Yeah, that's what I thought.
I was gonna say, yeah, okay. I was gonna say.
Yeah, so there's 9. There's 9 Supreme Court justices.
And so, in order for a law to pass, it has to be like a majority, right?
Yeah, in order for a decision to go one way. Yeah, in order for a decision to go one way, there has to be at least 5 justices that vote for it.
So give us an example. Like, let's say the abortion ruling. Let's say if that were to come up to let's say one of those cases were to come to a extremely conservative, like, because now how it currently works is that do the liberal or the liberal part of the board of the Supreme Court, do they have majority right now?
Actually, they don't.
So
They don't. So has happened in the past few decisions, a lot of the some of the conservative or more Republican justices have swung and voted in a liberal way. Like even a Trump appointee, Justice Gorsuch, in the Title VII case, who authored the opinion, voted in a liberal way, which was that's why it was so surprising, because right now we're outnumbered. But should Justice Ginsburg die and then Trump is able to appoint a more conservative justice, is certainly going to always be conservative. Is going to be
even less of a plurality, like meaning it'll be more people that are conservative. So then, even in situations where you might have one or two justices that would kind of go the other,
it wouldn't even matter.
It wouldn't even matter because it's so overwhelmingly conservative that that's that. Yeah.
Right. So
let's all be mindful of that as we go forward. Thank you for sharing that, Bree. Go ahead.
But at the end of the day, like people are saying, oh, we don't want her to die because what's going to happen in the Supreme Court, and like I get it, and like those fears are valid. But in my opinion, that lady has done more than enough. She's done more than enough in the name of justice, in the name of liberation. So
Ruth is like, I'm dying on the bench, bitch. You understand?
Right. Yeah, like, she's done it. She's done it. Like, and even though it will be a blow, if she passed or if she even decided to retire, which she has the right to.
Well, let's just say this. How old is Ruth? I think she's like
87.
87. And she's got multiple health issues. And I also want to be empathetic to human suffering. And I don't want to selfishly feel like, oh, and not acknowledge that that's a woman that's like literally working through cancer because she doesn't want the country to fall a different way. So shout out to Ruth on that. But I also want to say, you're right. She's done enough. Like if Ruth wants to sit down, she should sit down and live the rest of her days and not having to be worried about all that.
Right. It's just like she's done more than enough. So if she decides to step down, or God forbid if she passes, she's done enough. She's done enough. And at the end of the day, even though the Supreme Court is a big deal, there are other ways we can get the liberation we need, and the Supreme Court is not going to save us. Like these courts,
because again, like we said earlier, the Supreme Court doesn't create laws.
No, they don't. The Congress, the legislature creates a law. All the Supreme Court does is just interpret it, just to make sure that what is being done is constitutional or not. That's all. That's literally their powers that come from the Constitution. So, like, let that lady live. She says if she says she wants to work, let her work. But like, let that lady live. Like our liberation.
That pressure was cool. You're right.
Right. It's just like some people are just getting out of control. Like she's a regular human, just like everybody else.
And she should want. And if she doesn't want to spend the rest of her days in the reading long legal briefs and being in litigation, which I'm sure she probably doesn't do a lot of that anymore anyway. To be real with you, I want her to focus on her healing. To be real,
right?
Yeah. Like I would rather you not be trying to do both. If it means that we'll have that woman around a little longer to share her legacy and story. Because I think about it like this too. Her dying as a Supreme Court justice means we will never really get her unabridged opinion on stuff because she has to appear to be neutral.
Right.
So I would love for that woman to be able to have her story told. I hope she's getting someone to interview her now to get her real thoughts so she'll have that posthumous book. Because I am interested to know what a woman that has lived through so much and has seen so much history in front of her eyes unfold. What is it like to be a woman, to be a liberal, to be quote unquote the thing that white heterosexual male society hates, but they have to work with them every day. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Troy Kennedy posted, the GOP has already set a precedent for not confirming a judge during an election year, but they will be a hypocrite and rush. I agree. They'll rush Trump's nominee just so they can say they did it. I agree. They'll rush through a nomination. I agree.
Yeah, so I mean, at this point, we are already fucked. So whatever is going to happen is going to happen. What all we can do is control things where we're able to control them, and that means voting for people into office that represent us in the not only in these federal elections but your local state elections, and just trying to work around the system as best as we can. So let's transition to our next topic. If you guys want to chime in and you want to comment, I know some girls said they didn't have their face on last week. Well, you had a week to get ready.
So where's your face, girl? It should be on now.
Right. So make sure you copy and paste this link so you can come and we can bring you on and you can share your thoughts on some of these topics for tonight. Did you have another topic?
Mr. Kennedy, I was gonna say, Mr. Kennedy, if you're watching, this would be a great time for you to come on and maybe we can have some talk with a fellow community on one of these lives. So if you're still watching, hey, maybe call in. But any other topics?
Nick Cannon.
Yeah.
I almost forgot about it. So at this point, I think most people knows what happened. Nick Cannon has a podcast that he does. And on this particular podcast, he invited Professor Griff, who I think was a member of Public Enemy, and they proceed to have a typical Hotep conversation about Jewish people and about how blacks are the original Jews.
I watched the entire episode. Did you watch the entire episode?
No. So
I want to preface that because I feel like I watched the entire episode. And so
go ahead.
I want people to remember too that when you hear a soundbite or you hear a clip, it's in the abstract of the entire thing. And the way even me and you talk, like if somebody were to just catch it on and then I just spray his face, bitch, then people would be like, "Oh, girl," that's the kind of girls they are. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we talk about so many things with such a level of depth that it could get lost in our little joke moments if you were to take that and isolate it. But in this case, because I watched the whole thing, the reason why I said that, I disagreed with him because I watched the whole thing. And I wanted to say that so that people didn't just dismiss us like, oh, y'all just saw the clips online.
Right.
No, I watched the whole thing and it was a fool. But go ahead.
Yeah, so apparently in the midst of them talking about the Jewish people and the blacks of the original Jews and whatever they talk about, it went viral. The clips are taken from the interview and it went viral and was labeled as anti-Semitic. And as a result of the backlash from the interview, Viacom decided.
Did he have like a lifelong relationship with them?
Yeah, Viacom cut ties with Nick Cannon's all the Nick Cannon shows, which includes Wild 'N Out, and Viacom also owns Nickelodeon. And Nick first came into prominence like back in the 90s as a cast member of All That on Nickelodeon and his subsequent shows on Nickelodeon. So immediately black people, well, let me say certain black people were like, this is not right. And I even saw some black LGBT people that I was kind of side-eyeing saying this is not right and we need to protect Nick and this, that, and the third. And I'll just give my opinion, and well, not my opinion, or just how I felt it. Because at this point, I don't really have an opinion in reference to Nick, and I think I feel this way because I don't really feel like Nick is for the girls. So I didn't have a.
What made you say that? What makes you say that?
I just had because he just
the hotepness.
Yeah, he just been like, okay. So when it all happened, I wanted to sit back and let it play out. I didn't want to have an opinion about it until I was able to sit back and see other perspectives. But instinctively, I didn't have the instinct to say, oh no, this is not wrong. This is wrong and we need to stand. I was like, no. Let me sit back because I know of Nick having a history. I can't think of him saying anything against the girls, but he's one of them people that are very like, abortion is bad, and Planned Parenthood was designed to
Very
slaughter the black
misogynistic.
family. And I have vivid like memories of him having that position. So I was like, this nigga is kind of hoteppy. So I'm not. And then I didn't see the whole conversation. I saw the clip, and in my mind, I'm like, okay, just trying to be objective. Even if it wasn't anti-Semitic or it what you didn't intend, a reasonable person would know by saying these things or having this person on your podcast saying these things that it was going to be an issue.
Well, what I found interesting, sis, is I actually watched it, and her, I refuse to call that man professor. The Griff guy, he was saying he was explaining his life and how he got canceled and how he ended up being kicked out of the group because of his anti-Semitic beliefs, or what they say is Semitic. Then he went on to try to explain what the definition of what being Semitic is. Now, I don't even understand. Then it was actually Nick, and so this is what was shocking, because I thought maybe Nick allowed someone on his show to have an insensitive opinion and he didn't check it properly. But when I actually watched it myself, Nick was shooting out of the woods, like adding these like random things to the point where the other guy was going, yeah, you're right, yeah, you're right, yeah, you're right. But I didn't understand. I felt like this is what I honestly feel.
Mm-hmm.
So, one, we do have to speak truth to power. We do. However, hate is hate. Hate is hate is hate is hate. And the idea that we live in a world right now where people are getting in this echo chamber of hatred, where they get lost in their own thoughts and people that think like them, to where you can't see the humanity in another group of people, is a problem.
Right.
And that's on every side. Increasingly, and I believe this is as a result of us being so oppressed, there are some black people that are like, I don't want to deal with them at all. And I'm like, I don't want to live in that world, because then that world is no different than the world they set up for me. And I don't want to bequeath my children a broken world. I want to have conversations that are about building bridges and not dams. I want to connect with people in a way that I feel is authentic and real. And part of that is being able to see humanity even in someone that politically has been trained to see you not. Because I believe that my purpose, and this is speaking for me, is to use this microphone to uplift and to show light and to actually speak truth to power, but do it in a way that is affirming to the dignity of everyone involved. That conversation with Nick and him was like the kind of typical kind of like barbershop
nigga conversation.
Barbershop. You could tell it gave prison education tea, like a lot of men talking to each other about the same stuff. And so it was stuff that I had already heard before.
Mm-hmm.
It was stuff that nothing they said was not new. It runs in very extreme circles. But I do believe that the media needs to work on the way that I do believe the media that needs to work on the way that they handle people of color. In situations where there is a disagreement with something that they've said. Because we watch people all the fucking time say horrible shit about black people. I mean, shit that is like next level horrible. And they're still invited on to talk shows to give interviews. They're still, even CNN will have people that are like extreme, if nothing else for the clickbait of having them on CNN.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the canceling is different for people of color.
Right.
And I do want to acknowledge that difference, that rejection. I think that's crazy. Now, do I think he should have apologized? Yes, because what he said was not okay. I don't think that anyone's skin color makes them less or more than me. I think race is a construct. I believe that race is one of those things that we put too much emphasis on. Culture is not a construct. Culture and race are two different things. One is based on your background, where you're raised, the circumstances of your birth, but also your lived experiences. That's your culture. The other, which is your race, is purely something. It's all the stereotypes that we associate with skin color. Those are the assumptions that you make. Those are the judgments, they're good or bad, that you place on people. And I want to have assumptions that are balanced and fair and accurate, and not assumptions based on fallacies. And just ISA too, this like notion that like we're fighting for who really is the true Jews.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the hell? Why can't we be something else? Like, no shade. Like, like what? I don't understand the need to claim that power structure. The need to claim that Abrahamic religion and its people as the only representation of blackness. Because I'm kind of confused about why so many Black Americans are like calling themselves, like after this Nick interview, now we all Black Jews, but you was eating neck bones and you was celebrating, and on Easter you didn't have that same energy. So it's just very like, yeah, y'all, I'm not feeling that. So this next situation just articulated a mentality that sometimes can permeate in all communities, where some people feel like they are the chosen people. That chosen people mentality is how people end up in concentration camps, and why some people was in shackles for a large part of history. It's the reason why. So remember that these books and these Bibles and these religions that we're trying to espouse were often used to control and manipulate our minds and our bodies and our spirits to the will of our masters. And I personally would love to hear Black men arguing about other religious practices that are more homogenous to our ancestry in Africa and Ghana, recolonialization. Because like I feel like a lot of Black Americans kind of like lynched to any, I'm a Moor, I'm this, I'm that. You want to be anything but what we actually are. And while that's great, and I get understanding your roots is important to knowing who you are, until we accept who we are in the situation that we're in now, we're gonna be lost. You call yourself a Black king all day long, but if you beat women and you misgender and you treat people badly and you operate in the community as an enemy, then you're not a king. You're a tyrant. You're actually a monster. And so I feel like a lot of the conversations that Nick and them were talking about, it just upheld very patriarchal, male, divisive opinions. And I have no stomach for that.
No, sis, I feel like you broke that down the way it needed to be broken down. I don't know. I just don't. I don't like. I don't have the strong hate for Nick Cannon, but for me, I wasn't getting on the front lines to hate for him. And I saw an interesting video that somebody did, pointing out 5 ways that like Black hoteps perpetuates white supremacy in the same way that white supremacists do. Like 5 talking points that they think are unique to like Black nationalism, but are actually based in and rooted in white supremacy. So when I saw that video, that kind of clarified everything to me. Like, yeah, girls, I'm gonna sit this one out, because that shit they was talking about fit right in line with this video. And girl, I'm over here trying to make sure Black trans folks is okay. So I'm gonna let Nick handle that. But I am happy that Nick was humble in that way, because everybody wants to run around. Oh, I'm a
he doubled down. He doubled down and used the Black card. And usually when Black men do that, and that's it. So the idea that even then he was willing to be like, all right. I've been educated. I realize now why some of the shit I said was fucked up, and I won't ever do that again. Like that to me is a human experience. We all fuck up. I don't believe in cancel culture in the sense that I don't believe anyone is non-redeemable. If you haven't murdered someone or harmed a child, if you haven't, I think you are redeemable, in my opinion. And provided you haven't hurt, raped, or violated someone's physical well-being, you're redeemed. Like the words that we say, I feel like there's always an opportunity to educate someone if their only flaw was something that they said.
Right.
I don't know all that you're dealing with in your life. I heard 2 uneducated men making some points that made sense. And the problem with that photepery is a lot of what they say makes very logical sense. And it has a level of ethos that plays to the emotion. They have pathos and ethos, and it plays to the emotions. So it feels logical. It feels good to hear as a Black person. It plays into some of our insecurities. It plays into the power structure that does exist that Jewish people do participate in. So let's not absolve them completely. They do participate in a power structure that supports whiteness over Blackness, and they aren't as vocal as they should be about their Black and brown brethren and sisters.
Right.
So let's call them out there. However, what he was doing was so short-sighted in the sense that he was using logic that I know for a fact I could have turned on to a white supremacist channel and heard some of that same logic about skin color and them not having a propensity for me as humane, and I've heard that same shit.
It's like, Nick, you just walked into the trap. You just walked in.
Like, there's some things, even, and then it also let me know too, I always saw Nick as a very astute businessman, and I always respected that while he was playful and all of that, that he himself was a very smart man behind the scenes. But like the fact that this made it past the cutting room floor, the fact that this video made it past all of your clearances and checks, and you didn't re-look back at that video when it was being edited and say, yikes. Like, at least let me edit out some of the things that I said, Jesus. Like, it just let me know that he deep down has some issues that he needs to work through. And I do believe, I'm glad he's been educated, but I also know he made that apology because he was canceled. And he has to be and Mariah Carey for a baby mama. Okay? He can't be no broke nigga. Otherwise, it makes him look really bad. So I get it. She's worth $500 million. So he do have to have a job at minimum. But it's like he almost lost them all because and then that idea too that Black people turned on him. Oh, that wore me out. Baby, he is getting a backlash as if he did something. But y'all ain't got that same energy for your boss. You don't have that same energy for your employers. You don't have that same energy for the people around you. Like, if you really feel this strongly that this man should have risked it all and risked his life and future on the line for this bullshit, you would be the person out saying that shit. But here's the reality. You saying that shit don't make you no better than the white people that's saying that Black people are this and Black people are that and Black people are this. The idea that you speak about an entire group using their ethnic identity to define them is it is prejudice. I don't believe that the racism is a power structure, and I do believe that. But you can't be prejudiced. You can't be problematic. You can be disruptive to communication, and you can actually be a detriment to the people you say you're speaking for when you speak with carelessness and you speak about another group of people using a logic, the same Abrahamic rule book to now say they not the chosen people. Well, guess what? I don't think neither one of y'all chosen. To be real, I believe that all of the things that we use to control each other are things that are used to exclude others. Like any book that I read that's going to say, if you don't do this, this, and this, you're going to hell. Because to be transparent, most of what a lot of these religions are defining, a lot of these religions, they're defining cultural practices that make you similar to them, so that then you and them now can say, all right, well, we go to the same church, and because we go to this same church and we believe this same thing, the world is against us. So those people over there that don't believe what we believe are heathens, and we're saved. And because we're saved, or the chosen people, or whatever it is belief system that you have, you believe that somehow those other people aren't, and you feel attacked in the world constantly because you're operating in a way that tells the rest of the world, like, I don't see it for you, and until you join what I believe, you're not one of me. And nobody wants to be received in that way. So then when you end up rejecting people constantly, if you talk to people that are deeply religious people, they feel horribly rejected because they constantly put themselves in this dynamic in life where they're judging other people and then can't figure out why people don't like them. So you know what happens? They only feel safe at church. You only feel safe with people that think like you and act like you and do the same things you do. And to me, whether you be a white person that chooses to isolate in your suburban community and not engage with any communities of color or queer communities or any type of other difference, you're bad, but I feel like black people who do that same thing and get into their bubble and refuse to accept queer communities Oh, my watch is on backwards, man. I was like, what is talking to me? When you refuse to accept queer communities, when you refuse to engage or dialogue with people that don't go to your church or are not in your denomination or do not, like, you are a problem to me. So I don't fuck with it no way. White people or black people, I don't fuck with that narrow mentality. But yeah, well, I think they wrote this down good, sis.
No, I hope Nick continues to grow on his journey of learning. But Nick, we learned that you're not a boss, that even you have somebody to answer to. So we need to be very mindful about the stuff that we put out. I don't know if he's going
to. People also do your own research. I hate that we're such a that we rely so heavily on word of mouth. It's a good thing in some ways, but a lot of black people, we rely so heavily on word of mouth and what people that are around us are saying that we end up repeating the same shit over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a lot of black people that until that interview did not consider themselves Jewish. Now they hold Jews. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have some people have to have a stronger constitution. And just because a black person, a black person in particular, just because a black person speaks to us because they look like us and we identify
with the turban on,
just because they speak to us and we identify with them and we've known them since they were a kid, does not mean they're absolved of being responsible for what they say. And it also doesn't mean that they speak for us. A lot of black people are so quick to let anybody speak for them. He don't speak for me. You don't speak for me. I speak for me. You see what I'm saying? It's just like, why can't more people just be independent? Like, that bandwagon shit wears me down. Because the reason why y'all attack Nick so badly is because you bandwagon so motherfucking hard for him to begin with. You were so up his ass when you thought he was telling the massa what you feel, but you weren't yourself invested in his success, because as soon as he learned and educated and improved and said, hey, y'all, this is what I've learned, y'all then want to turn your back on him, and now you get all this vitriol. Sometime-y ass motherfuckers. I can't stand
it. Honey, I was gagging at all the gay people talking about, oh, we need to stand up for him. I was like, well, have fun doing that. I really don't have time. I really don't have time. Let me see. I'm looking through the blogs right now to see if there's something else that I wanted to talk about, honey.
Do you follow? So I'm a YouTube girl. Like, I've realized that I'm a YouTube girl. Like, I really like YouTube. Have you been following any of the drama on YouTube?
No, what drama?
Oh God! So the Jeffree Star drama, the Shane Dawson drama, the Onision drama, how they're all interconnected. I follow all of the shit. I'm with the shits. Like, on the low, if we wanted to, not that we would do it, but if we wanted to have just like a whole YouTube gossip build out, bitch. Oh girl, I'm her. Bitch. I be on it. And how it relates to, like, but basically YouTube is just one of those places. And we don't have to talk about the specifics of the drama, but I do want to talk about, like, the idea now that we live in the world, this online world where we're engaged in community, and like the idea that everything that you said can and will be used against you, no matter how long ago it was, no matter how unevolved it was. Like, I had a YouTube channel myself. I still have the channel that I had from back in the day, back when all the girls was getting on there and trying to be seen, bitch. But bitch, I was trying to be a budding makeup guru, and I also sold virgin hair. And so I would do like hauls from the beauty supply and all that kind of stuff. So I will say I embraced YouTube early, and I had like a channel. But it is still up. So for those of you who want to Google my name, find me. I'm on YouTube. Or you could just Google 40-inch hair. I was the first girl to really be selling those bundles fiercely here in Atlanta. And so I had videos promoting that hair. So if you just want to check it out, that was my old business. But my point in bringing that up was, I feel like in the world now, I was looking back at some of my YouTube videos, and I said things that I wouldn't necessarily say now. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And I think about how, like, we live in a world where, if God forbid somebody wanted to, they could pick apart any one of, because especially those of us that are opinionated and we've been giving our opinion and we trust in the world with our growth, right? Like I've been posting online, talking to people, engaging in this way since MySpace. So I've trusted the world with my words. And the idea now that all of that could be used against me is terrifying. And so I want to know, what is your thought on that? Like this idea that cancel culture extends back indefinitely. And like the idea that you can lose everything behind something that you said. Like, do you think that that's okay? Do you think that there should be some caveats to how that's applied? Are there any addendums? Like, what do you think?
I don't, from what I've seen when it's been backlash, I feel like people only lose everything when they try to act like it doesn't exist, or they are not at a place now where they can understand why what they said was so problematic, and they're not able to really speak to it in a way to show them that they have grown. Like I've seen some people from YouTube that whose tweets have been pulled up, and it's been not just I'm sorry, but it's been, this is where I was at when such and such happened, and this is why I said, like, I'm here for an apology. I think my problem when I see that is when people just refuse to acknowledge why it was bad, or they try to weasel their way out of it, or they just don't acknowledge it at all, or that, well, everybody said it, and it's just like, no, bitch, like that's not good enough. I don't know. I feel like we all say stuff, but I think with the level of growth and maturity, there is a way that there is a way that you can like come clean, I guess, or could spill your guts, where people can relate with you on a human level to see how you've grown and evolved. And I feel like now we're in a time where folks are having to reckon with their past in a way that they've never had before, and it's uncomfortable. So if anything, it needs to be a teacher moment for really how to reckon with the past and reckon with the things that you've done, because I really don't think that we've actually had a demonstration, of how to do that before. I'm gonna wait for the lioness to come back on. Oh Lord, I'm exhausted. Okay, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, for me, I just want to see a true, genuine apology. But I feel like this stuff needs to happen because we need a demonstration of what it looks like to truly reckon with your past. Because I feel like before the social media and all of that, people were allowed to say, oh, people were either allowed to act like they've never engaged in anything or never done anything, or I just became this progressive person, or I just had this revelation, and now I'm here. But it's just like, well, this is what you said 10 years ago. Like, can you explain? I think it's uncomfortable and it's scary, but I think we need a demonstration of what it means to reckon with your past, what it means to be apologetic for what you did, and what it means to explain where you're at now. I think you should only be worried if you have a problematic position and you have not taken any steps to grow or to see why what you did or what you said was problematic. And if you haven't grown, why you holding these things are still problematic. So I don't know. I just feel like people that don't want to deal with it, that's what in turn makes it a bigger situation than what it needs to be.
I agree. So I do agree that there should be a period of I do believe you don't get the right to have something, say something, and feel like you can't be checked on it. You put it into the community atmosphere. Now, and particularly if you've had the benefit. Now, what I don't like is when the internet tries to take down the little guy, like the regular person. But if you're somebody like us that has stepped onto a platform, and I do believe that if God forbid, if I said something that offended anyone, and they would have a right to come back to me with it.
Mm-hmm.
There then is, how do I react, right? Like, so I like that. I don't like that he was resistant to apologize originally, because that's originally why he lost the job. They didn't just fire him because he said it. They fired him because he refused to apologize. And it wasn't until after they fired him and when he thought he was going to lose his little Masked Singer show that then he was like, all right, all right, all right. And then he made the full apology and took the video down. Now, there is some questions to me with the motivation for the apology. However, I accept it because I like the demonstration that he's modeling now, that even after you have doubled down, if you've been educated, it's okay to be honest and say that. You know what I'm saying? That you were wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like that, but you're right. I do not want us to slip back to the was in the dark ages where you didn't really know how people were able to pretend like they never were how they are. Does that make sense? Because then that's when I feel like it still lurks in the secret within you, because it never has been something that you had to atone for or be accountable to. So I do like that we live in a culture where, no, you can't just say anything about anybody now. But I don't like the cancel part of it, where people feel like this person is unredeemable because they have offended me. They haven't done anything physical. They didn't take a life. They didn't.
I think we have to be specific when we're talking about cancel culture. Are we talking about like public shunning, or are we talking about consumers choosing to withhold their financial support of stuff? Because
no. I'm all for it. You're not getting my motherfucking money if I don't see it for you. I only spend my money with people that I like because it's my money, my choice.
But I think we also have to like expand the scope to also know that you working in the entertainment industry and having these contracts with these companies are also like that. Like contracts can always be canceled.
Right, and I do believe if you say some fucked up shit and you're repping our brand, and a part of that responsibility is that
a brand that you don't own.
A brand that you don't own. And paid you money to be a face for our brand, and you have information out there that is now disparaging about your reputation, and it doesn't meet our values, then you got to go. As I said, I only spend money with people that I like.
And I think that like everybody wants to be in entertainment and everybody wants to be a star, but you have to be mindful that in the entertainment business or in anything, you're only successful due to public support or public consumption. And you have to, if you're purposely putting yourself in this industry, you have to know how to toe that line, or you have to know how to navigate that. And it's not guaranteed. Like you're not guaranteed to be like all of that stuff can change. And I feel like people in the entertainment industry at various levels, I think when people feel like they've reached a level of success, it's like, oh, I'm untouchable. And it's like, no, unless you really own stuff and you have residual income and you're behind the scenes, no, anybody, like if you do the wrong thing, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. So just be mindful. Just be mindful of knowing your limits.
I do like that we're not being hip. I don't like how it's being applied unevenly to affect minorities and people that white.
That's true.
Like, but I do like that we live in a world where you got to watch what the fuck you say, because at the end of the day, we let the bar go so low as to what people could get away with and still be able to be employable and to be contractable, and you know what I'm saying? Like, we allowed the standard to get so low that we have this man in office that has no respect for human decency. So then the idea that we have toughened up and we're more watchful of how we access him, I think it's a deep reflection of how embarrassed we are about how he is. Like, we're embarrassed that we live in a world where low key a lot of people are fucked up because they deep down, even though they're trying to be PC for the public, there are a lot of people that have a lot of crazy opinions because they root for his ass. He has a very loyal fan base. So I think as a culture, because people are ashamed and insecure about the decision of him as president, we become hypersensitive and very critical of one another in a way that I don't think is also very healthy. I feel like reserve that for him. Reserve that for the real enemies, the dark people in our community, and all races that are tearing down their community, that are mistreating women, mishandling children, being predators, being victimizing people. Like, regardless of your color, those are the people I want to focus on. And I feel like we just got to be mindful as a people that we are trying to be not mirror images of the very thing, just with different skin color of the thing we're trying to tear down. I don't want to mirror white supremacy with black skin instead. That's not what I'm interested in.
Right. So I guess the last thing I want to say before, because bitch, I'm sleepy. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I'm sleepy, bitch. I bitch needs to take a nap.
Girl, my legs are cramping. I know you've been seeing me play with my legs. I actually did a workout with Tia earlier. We put in some miles.
Mm-hmm.
This lake that has a this part that has a really, really big lake.
Mm-hmm.
It actually had like a little light beachfront.
Mm-hmm.
So we walked to that lake, and so it was a good little walk. So it's just my legs are cramping. So I have to take an aspirin. So you're right, girl. We can't do that too long.
Yeah, but I just want to say that I want to give a shout out to Funky Dineva, who did a video. Funky Dineva has a new feature on his channel where he gives advice to letters that he gets, and one of the letters was about a black cis woman whose husband has attraction to trans women and watches trans porn.
What was that tea?
No, the video was actually really good. I'm glad we're at a time where people with bigger platforms are finally getting the conversation and advocating in ways that are positive for our community, because it takes the labor off of people like us who are always having to have the same conversations over and over and over again. Like, when I saw the video, I just felt so relieved. Basically, his advice was that, because she asked, is he gay or is he bi? And it was very much, he's neither. He is trans attracted, and you need to go to counseling, not to figure out if you don't want to.
Come on, Dineva said that?
Yeah, he said that. And he was like, you need to go to counseling, not to figure out if you want to leave him just because he likes trans women and you don't like trans women. You need to figure out if you can be in a marriage with a man that is attracted to trans women. And he broke it down. So it was short, to the point, educational. Like, I had no complaints. And it's something that happens because there's so many cis het men that are married to cis women that are attracted to that watch trans porn, or be putting Grindr on their phone and deleting it every time they think they go. Like, it's something that's a real problem. So I'm glad that Funky Dineva was able to speak to it and able to give the proper education.
And I'm glad too that, like you said, that opportunity wasn't taken as a moment to sensationalize the narrative that is problematic. Like, he checked automatically off the rip the notion that there's something wrong with him.
Right.
Like, but I'm glad that he also encouraged her to get help and support and therapy, because I do believe that a lot of men feel that the one thing that would keep them from truly embracing us is feeling like it would make them undateable to any other woman.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I feel like if you that nigga, it won't matter. Trust me. It's a shortage of men out here, girl. Like, like, if you that nigga, it won't matter. It's right. Out here still having babies. It's celebrities still having kids with Future. Like, like, it just lets you know there's you. If you really got the mojo that women like, it ain't about you. You don't have to worry about somebody canceling you because of your past. However, I do believe that there are a lot of women that espouse toxic behavior. And even writing that question, like the way it was worded, I'm glad he was able to redirect that energy.
Mm-hmm.
That there are men, that those are men is energy. I'm glad that he was able to redirect that energy, because yes, he probably does need counseling. If that's not something that they need counseling together, if that's not something she's willing to support. But if he's not cheating on her with trans women, did he say that where they were cheating?
No, he wasn't cheating, but she found the porn on his phone. He lied about it and said, "Oh, he saw it by accident," and then she found it on his phone again, and that he had like a profile, and then he described it as, "Oh, it's something that's a problem or an issue that he's trying to get over." And I was like, "Yeah, so Daniva advised y'all right. Y'all need counseling because." The fact that he's lying about his trans attraction and he's seeing it as a problem or something that's wrong with him, like he's not even he hasn't even accepted his own sexuality.
And that's
And
problematic in a lot of ways because if he at least was okay with who he liked, if he was okay and had fully worked through it, then I feel like he could be a mature partner. But the idea that he's lying is the problem.
And even she even said that he can't even get through the Shada season. Like every time the trans character comes on with the boyfriend, it's like he needs counseling, girl, because it's a very thin line between that and a nigga like that enacting violence on an actual trans person. So yeah,
so he's so transphobic he can't even get to the Shy.
Yes,
but has oh girl, see, and that I'm glad that she took the opportunity. I'm glad you brought this up, sis. That's what I be meaning, cis women that are our supporters and friends and loved ones. That's what I mean when I say you got to be mindful of the lengths that men will go through to lie to themselves, to convince themselves that they're not this thing that society has told them is hated and abomination and it's not right. Men will lie to themselves. So you know they will lie to you. And if those same men are engaging in that behavior where they're not being honest and open in your relationship, then what makes you think that they're being amazingly open and honest with us and we're complicit in the lies that they try to spin between us? Like, we're not complicit. We're women also being lied to. Now, there's a lot of women out there that would then be mad at trans women because their husband or their man is into trans women. But we didn't ask for that. I don't know your man. I don't give a fuck about him. I'm not thinking about your man. If he likes trans women, that's something that he's going to have to work through because we are beautiful and we are women. Now, does that make him less of a person? No, but he got to be honest and at least be able to say he like it. And then, girl, you got a choice. If he's not cheating on you and you don't like it, you probably should just leave already. But I mean, I'm glad Daniva, allowing them to go get counseling. But I mean, you really just have a choice, sis. You know what he likes. Now you can pretend like you don't, but I think
I will only say
backfire on her and become violent because a man that's that closeted to where he has a violent reaction to people on TV is a man that has a problem with his identity and himself. So it's only one bad conversation with her away from him turning that vitriol onto her.
Yeah, I will only say
our abusers too. I think women need to get cis women
right. I will only say stay if he was the type of person that fessed up the first time. But the fact that he's lied about it, the fact that has so much shame about it, like he's going to continue to creep around and then justify it by, oh, it's not real or it's not, like he hasn't come to, but like you said, because he hasn't come to terms with his sexuality, he's never going to be honest with you. He's just not. He's not
honest with himself.
Right. So you have a choice to make.
By being angry at the Shy when he has tranny porn. You see he's lying to himself. Okay? So then, girl, you cannot expect for him to have the capacity to do more for you than he's doing for himself. So if you already see that, it's a rap, sis. And that's in general. And now I will be saying the same thing.
And all these niggas talking about, it's just an app, or bitch, if he's going out and looking up trans porn, it's nothing for him to get on these apps, and there's nothing for him to interact with these girls on the apps, and then take it a step further and actually have sexual and engage sexually with these girls.
Now there are some girls, and I can feel it in my spirit because I hear myself talking, and I don't want to sound like in any way am I judging the girls who, because I do believe that there's a certain amount of like understanding that we need to have for people having their journey and their process of self-discovery. And there's some girls, trans women, I think, that will probably take a issue with the fact that we're quote unquote siding with this cis woman in the sense that like the idea that him liking trans porn is wrong or that it is something that he needs to explain or go in like, but this is my reality and this is why I think that lady.
But he's married though,
and he's lying to his wife. That's
Thank
what
you.
I want to reiterate. So for the girls out there that are like, "Oh, y'all I hate it," no,
this ain't some random girl that he's dating. They're married.
This is his wife. He needs to talk to his wife because how many times have we been in a situation where somebody's husband is trying to make us their emotional wife? Because let's talk about that. Let's talk about how cis men have been taught to loathe femininity and womanhood so much that some cis men erroneously believe that they can come to us and talk bad about cis women.
Next week's episode, we'll be talking about killing DL culture, and you will get more of that conversation next week.
Yeah,
but that's one of that's one of the things that we'll be talking about. But yeah, it's the fact that he's married to this woman. Like even in marriage, you're not being an honest partner. You're not being forthright about not even that you like have this identity, but that you're not even being honest with your wife because you're struggling with this identity.
And that is the scary part. It's right. The idea that I know as your wife because I know you and I know what you like, nigga, and I done seen it. So now I know you, and you gonna sit here and tell me a bold lie to my face, and then it's to the extreme that you gonna flip the fuck out when you see trans people because you want to prove to me that I didn't see what I saw. Okay, but I see what I see, and I know what I know. So it's just the idea too that what's scary is that man will probably go through deep lengths to prove. You see what I'm saying? So he's the man that can't help his attraction, still will engage with trans women. And let's unpack the narrative of how they end up becoming murderers. Still engaged with trans women, be in an environment where he doesn't feel supported. That's why shout out to his wife for being a bitch that's about the solution. Okay? Shout out to his wife. Because she reached out to someone LGBT for support because she realized that this was something she wasn't going to be able to just come up against. But it's not that he likes trans people that's the issue, like we've been saying. It's the audacity of him to live in this place where he likes something and devalues them and speaks bad about them because he's trying to placate his woman. And I love the fact that she's able to see through that facade. And I wish more women were able to see through that facade. Hold on a second. Some of what we say when we get into cis women about like y'all help contribute to the murders is the notion that a nigga that would deal with us is disgusting and that he's not redeemable once you find that information out. So then he might as well, in his mind, either kill myself or kill the object that has ruined my life. So what we're saying is that what's problematic about this man as he has not reached the depth of understanding in himself to even accept himself. So that when he sees trans people, it triggers him in a violent way. And when we get killed, what then will be the story is my husband didn't know. He'll say, I was tricked. And his wife will then have to stand there and pretend and be complicit like she didn't know he watched trans porn. Like she didn't already see that he's into this. But because now you're in a situation where you think your husband may have killed somebody, because I know that happens. I know that there are a lot of cis women out there that saw their husband or boyfriend on TV and after they killed one of the girls, heard the story and was like, yep, that's him. Bitch, that's him. That's very what he likes. I know my husband. That's him. That looked like the one he was looking at. Like, and they still keep that secret. So like cis women, what we're asking you is to be a supporter, be open and honest, but also hold these men to accountable. If you are in a situation where you see your man obviously is doing too much, protesting about a community and getting angry out of the blue about a community that he supposedly hates, you should call him on that. Because that behavior, just you calling him on that may save a life. Go ahead.
No, I have an experience about this guy that I hooked up with, and he was in the military, and then I hooked up. This was back in Maryland.
How old was he?
I don't know, but the only reason I liked him is because he munched really good and he looked like Kanye West.
So he was handsome.
No, he was really handsome, and he was familiar with the girls. But the first time we hooked up, boom, he came to my house, and then I didn't hear from him. Like we wasn't going together. It was strictly a cut up tea. Um, I met up with him later. He moved somewhere. He moved like in the suburb next to Baltimore, and I came over. So I came over, and it was like late at night. So I came over to his apartment, and I thought it was odd that he didn't have a car, but I was like, whatever. So bitch, we get to do on our thing. He's munching me on the couch. Next thing I know, like somebody's opening the door, like opening the door. So
Oh
bitch,
no, since it was a walk-in.
he dashes me in the bedroom, and the bedroom has like two sets of closets. He hides me in the first closet and was like, "Oh, my girlfriend is coming home," and I was like, "Bitch, you never told me you had a girlfriend. Because if you had a girlfriend, I would have never like came over here." But he dashes me in the closet. Girlfriend comes in the apartment, stomping mad, like, "Who the fuck you had in here? I know you had somebody in here. I heard something." And he
Since
gets
you
the
like to
line.
do all that, he's not your man. He's everybody's man. But go,
Girl, he gets the lying. Oh, gaslighting her. Oh, you tripping? Ain't nobody in here. You insecure. Da 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 da. And she was also. It was also interesting because from what I could see through the little hole in the closet,
since
she
you were
kind.
really that girl trapped in the closet for real, like
Yeah,
looking out, like
praying
heart
my phone was
racing.
on vibrate or silent, but she kind of looked like me. So then she proceed. So apparently she had a girls' night out with her girls at the club. He let her drive his car, and he wasn't expecting her back home until a certain time. So that's when
That's
he.
not, you know what, niggas. Go ahead,
And,
girl.
and then so thank God she burst through the bedroom. She didn't go to the first closet. She went to the second closet. But they're arguing and
So
going
when
back.
she did the closet check, bitch, I need the details. So, bitch, you hear her burst in. They have the little argument. She walks back to the back. She walks up to the two closets. She go to the second closet and skips it, bitch. And you're sitting there like, is your heart racing? Like, are you
I'm
like,
racing.
oh, I have
I'm
to fight
racing.
her?
I was nervous as shit because I'm like,
Were
bitch,
you
if she comes
close?
through this first closet, bitch, I'm gonna have to fight her. Like I'm gonna have to beat the shit out. Like I'm
Like
gonna have
on
to.
site.
Right, because I'm not going to depend on him to have my back. I'm like, bitch, if she come in this first set of closets, bitch, I'm literally going to have to fight my way up out of this house because she was on 10, he was lying, and so thank God but he was trying to get her back out of the house. So, um, they get like back to the living room, and she's going off. She was like, why she's like, I know something's going on, and why you don't never want to have sex with me no more, and you be watching that tranny porn, and you haven't touched me in
So, bitch,
weeks, and,
wait. So you heard this woman saying that to this man.
and this is back in like
And you're a
2012.
trans woman in the closet.
Right.
Bitch.
Yeah, because she was like, you thought I didn't. She was like, I went through your computer and it's tranny porn, and you watching that all the time, but you never want to have sex with me. And bitch, it was a mess. But he got her out of the apartment fast and just told her to go on a drive and calm down. And then as soon as she cleared, bitch, his trifling ass girl, he wanted me to stay there so he could finish munching me. And then I was like, no, bitch, I gotta get the fuck up out of here because you are I was like, I was like, bitch, I would have really would have been
Be like,
her.
wait, before you take that pussy from me.
Yeah. No, I was so nervous. I got up out of there, but that was the first time that I was like, this woman know what they niggas be into. Y'all know. Y'all know. But y'all
And you mad because every time you see one of us, it confirms you think there's something mysterious about us or something about us that your man is into that bothers you. Here's the reality. Sis, I didn't have no parts of that. I don't know you. I don't know him. I don't want him. I don't want him. I don't want him. I feel like we need to say that because there's a lot of cis women that be thinking we all in this for the dick, baby. Listen, I swear to God, I turn down. We most of us turn down more than we get.
Yeah, but
really
on a daily basis, bitch.
We really don't want it.
No, girl, but I think I didn't talk to him for like a long time after that. But he broke up with the girl and he moved somewhere else. And bitch, I ain't gonna lie, girl. We hooked when he moved to the new place, girl. Bitch, the head was too good, bitch. His head game was on point, and he looked like Kanye West, and he grew this beard, like he was. But I think he would try to like make things serious with me, but I'm like, you're a cheater. Like I literally saw you cheat, and like I would never want to date you. Like you're good for the head, and the dick was good, and you know I had my fun, but like you one of those type of messy niggas. You like all of that foolishness. I'm not into that. From last time I heard, he lives like in North Carolina. He moved from Maryland, but yeah, girl, that was a situation, bitch. I gagged because I was like, bitch, if she come in this closet, bitch, I'ma light her ass up, bitch. I got to, girl. Ain't no talk, bitch. I'ma just come out swinging, bitch, and whatever happens is gonna happen, girl. Cause and she was a big girl, bitch. She was a big girl. So, bitch, we was
the tussle, ma'am.
Right. We were gonna be two big bitches up in there brawling, bitch.
Cause bitch, if it was Little Fish, you'd be like, all right, girl, well, I hope she doesn't hit me because I don't want to hear her back. But this is a bitch, you would have had to come out the closet with
no, bitch, I would have had to come out
in a full windmill, bitch. You gotta come out the closet ready, bitch.
Girl, cause she gave me the type of a woman that she would have just immediately blamed me. And then if she would have saw her boyfriend on her knees munching me, bitch, that really would have because when she came in the house, girl, I was sitting on the couch and he was on his knees, girl, munching me, girl. And I was like, she probably would have just paid him and just would have been attacking me, girl. So I would have had to get her.
I've been in that situation, but it wasn't a closet. So I had just had with this man, and well, he was a guy that I was already dealing with. We had been so consistently dealing with each other that I never would even question, whatever. But we were in an encounter and we had just finished, but it gave very, like, we were just, you could tell, and he lived in this kind of like studio type situation.
Mm-hmm.
So, bitch, it was like the bed was the living room, but it was a loft, so it was like a nice place. It was like one of those nice places, but it was his space wasn't very big, and he had like his IKEA little setup in there, like those little, like, you could tell he went to IKEA and was like one of those little rooms under whatever square feet, and was just like, I want all of it, bitch. Just give me all of it.
Mm-hmm.
But but we just had, girl, and I had just put on my clothes. We was in a little afterglow conversation. We still had a candle lit and incense, and the sex we just had, it was one of those like, you needed to air out. So, but baby, so as I'm sitting on the couch and we kind of in the glow, bitch, and thank God, I had just put on my clothes, bitch, and she keys into his place. Now, apparently, that was an ex. See, I don't know what the story was. Okay, so I don't want to quote his narrative because now I know him. Like, bitch, after that, I figured you lied about some things. But she walked in and she was like, I knew it. Bitch, I'm like, ooh, but what could she know, girl? Like, she was like, I knew it. And she was like, I can't believe you. She was like, and then she like got in and she was like, and I'm not surprised that she was like, you think I don't know? She was like, I came back here to just check on you. But see, I feel like low-key she might have intercepted, because I'm going to admit that we met online.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she intercepted our communication. She might, because this was Black Planet days.
Mm-hmm.
So she must have logged into his Black Planet because this was like, this wasn't a man I met up with regularly. This was like so random of an encounter that she had to knew it was happening. So the walk-in gave I just want to see. And so she slammed the door and stormed out. And he was just like, the gag is he didn't go after her or nothing, bitch. He locked the door behind her. He locked the door behind her and was like, man, see, he was like, I don't know why she would do that. We not in a relationship. And I was like, well, you're not gonna go after her? Because she seems pretty upset. And he was like, nah, she keyed into my house. I was like, I gave her that key when we were together in case of emergency, and I never took it back from her because I think it would be cool, like we, they had moved on or whatever, or I guess. But it was funny because that was the worst situation I've been in. Because thankfully, God, I was covered up, but he wasn't. So now that was another T. He didn't yet. He wasn't covered up yet all the way. So I think she caught the pull up kind of situation T. And so I was like, well, girl. But anyway, like you, we still messed around after that. Because then it wasn't, because after that, because I felt like he wasn't married. I knew he wasn't married. I messed with him. And like any woman, when the sex is good, girl, listen, y'all not together. And so I'm sorry sis is upset. This is my turn, girl. You come back later.
All right. No, but yeah, these women, like, the signs are usually there, but I wouldn't advise a woman to stay in a relationship because it's just like a man that is attracted to trans women is also attracted.
This is a key, bitch. It is.
Yeah, a man that is attracted to trans women is also attracted to cis women. So it's not like he couldn't be in a committed relationship with you. But if he is characterizing his attraction as a problem or a secret, or if he's ashamed and he hasn't worked through it and he is in that level of denial, I would question whether I could continue being in a relationship with him. And I'm just keeping it real because it's so easy for men to want to keep us secret and have access to us and have sex with us or interactions with us, and nobody would never know about it.
Exactly. So I mean, and I'm not gonna lie, I've been in situations where I've dated men, and we could talk about more of this in the DL podcast, but like I've been in situations with men where I went over to their house and by the decorations I knew a woman lived there.
Bitch! by the children's toys strewn everywhere. Bitch. And I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it the fuck real. If it's me having sex or getting my nut, like, and it's safe, bitch, I'm gonna have my fun and dip the fuck out. So I'm not even going. For me, as a single woman, I'm not even gonna act like.
As a wife, I really don't want to hear that, bitch. Oh no.
No. But I feel like, for me, from my perspective, because I don't ever want to get on here and act like, oh, like, I'm virtuous, and then a lot of times men will be involved and be in relationships and feel like they don't have to tell you, and they're not going to tell you. So I don't want to get on here. And again, that is part of our culture. It's part of our culture for men to be attached and feel like they can still have access to us. And it's something that I'm really invested in divesting from, so we can. And so it could be one aspect of us shaking up these cultures so we can stop the culture of killing that's acceptable when it's trans women. But I can't be honest and say, like, I know in the back of my mind, like, the men I hooked up with, they're probably involved with somebody because they feel like by virtue of me being trans and not cis, they don't owe me that level of, and it's just right. And now, am I purposely going to involve men or married men and push it? No, that's not.
They're always seeking us out. I don't know too many girls that's out hunting for people.
No, but because the way our culture is set up, it's acceptable for them to do that to us.
It's acceptable for them to fuck us but not love us. So then y'all are the people that I'm gonna play with. You're the person that I'm gonna be the most honest about my sexual needs and desires. You're the person that I'm going to the one person that I'm going to let the veil down around, but in exchange for that, bitch, you get nothing else. I have to compartmentalize you and keep you in such a narrow place. I have to hold you completely away from my regular life so that you can be my escape to go to when I need to get this need met. That I'm not evolved enough or mature enough to process with my partner.
Right.
And so you get the blame a lot of times when I'm just a single woman looking to get to know a man, and I'm not necessarily doing a background check on everybody I meet on the internet. So
no,
you're supposed to know, sis. he came to me with a lie, and I'm in this situation. But this is the reality. Even if I did have him, it's not infidel. It's not what you call it. The word I want to use is adultery on my part, unless I sought him out and I chose to find him. If I don't know you and I don't know him, and how am I supposed to know he's married? And I'm definitely not gonna bring up no other bitch if this is all. If all we're here for is sex.
Or sometimes you get men that break it down like this. Oh, this is just something I like to do every now and then. It'll never be more than this. I have a family, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. And I'm thinking, well, bitch, it's only enough for me, and you're not going to integrate me into your life. You're not going to treat me like a human. You're not going to. So, bitch, fuck it. But that's part of the culture, and that's kind of what I want to do a deeper dive into. But I know for me as a trans woman, it is going to have to get to a place where I have to divest from that, because that's part of the culture that perpetuates a lot of the violence and a lot of the harms that we experience from at the hands of men, whether men are violent or not. So I'm gonna just stop that conversation right there. Because we'll definitely talk about that when we record. As y'all can see, my background is different. I had to get the hell out of Chicago again. I'm at the secret location.
I wasn't gonna say nothing, sis. I was gonna wait till we offline. Girl, I was gonna say, bitch, you are not alone. I mean, you are not at home.
No, I'm not, girl. I had to get out again, but I'll be back by the time we record. I'll be back in Chicago. So yeah, but I think we're going to get off of here. We've given you guys more than enough, honey. Make sure you guys have listened to episode 18. Make sure you're telling your friends about our podcast, and we will see you here next week.
All right. And for those of you who are just tuning in and this is your first time, this was the box number 512 Black Grown Trans Woman Talk Live After Show. And it's also every Friday. And like my sister just said, we want you to like, follow, and subscribe to us on all of our social media platforms, as well as if you want to, we would love it if you could donate to our donate for us on Anchor. And we thank you for watching. This was fun. For those of you who participated in the conversation, we implore you and we appreciate what you've done, and we implore you to do it more. And I just want you to also remember to spread a little love, share a little love, and be mindful of what you say. This has been Black Grown Trans Woman Talk, box number 512 podcast. And I'm the Lioness.
And I'm Aeon. Bye.